Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And they need to stop. They need to just stop with Doctor Who already. Ncuti Gatwa is confirming that one story aspect will be tackled in the new era of Doctor Who. Can you guess? Can you guess what they're going to talk about?
Well, we already talked about feminism and trans rights, so I'm guessing racism.
You are correct. Yes, they're going to address racism in Doctor Who, and apparently the Doctor is going to be subject to racism now for the first time, even though he was a black woman before, you know.
Yeah, which
but
would have been worse, but yeah.
Whatever, you know, in the 60s, no less. So yeah, let's talk about this because I'm sure this is what everybody wants, another lecture. And this is coming right after, again, all you got to do is say, hey, guys, give our show a chance. Watch the episodes. Tell us what you think. You know, just give us a chance, please. No. Preemptively, he was out there talking about how mediocre white shows, white mediocrity was being celebrated in TV land, in Hollywood, and the BBC. And, you know, it's about time that the Doctor's coming. Now the Doctor's going to deal with racism. Because, you know, the Rosa Parks episode went so well.
Mm-hmm. The Doctor's the one that put Rosa at the back of the
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, my God. Yeah, that was actually when Squid King noped out. He was watching the first couple episodes. He's like, yeah, the cinematography's not bad. She's not terrible. She'll probably get better. And then he's like, nope, I'm out. I'm completely out. I am done with Doctor Who. And he never looked back. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This is coming from Screen Rant. Doctor Who, Ncuti Gatwa confirms one story aspect. See, they're not going to tell you in the headline because you won't click on the article. Yeah,
well,
Ncuti Gatwa.
I guess, you know, just from the, you know.
Ncuti Gatwa confirms that one important story aspect of Doctor Who will be tackled in this new era. It's racism.
Here's the thing. Maybe tell Ncuti Gatwa to stop talking.
I think that would be wise. I think they need to, like, a lot of times what happens with these shows is they have stars or producers or directors or writers or whatever, and they go out there and they do the press tour, and they do, instead of doing damage control, instead of getting people excited for the movie or the show, they actually cause more damage. Mm-hmm. And then in hindsight, you go back and watch the thing, and a lot of times you're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be because they just kept running at the mouth. You know, Blue Beetle was a good example of that. The D&D movie was a good example of that. It's like, if you guys just kept your damn mouth shut, Haunted Mansion, if you guys just kept your mouth shut, put your movie or your show out there and let audiences decide, might have gone better for you. I'm just saying, could you imagine current year if we had the internet and like the entire cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation every damn week was out there tweeting about, you know, all the social topics that they were going to address on the show?
I know, they could just, if you just keep your mouth shut, people will watch it, and then, you know, and then they might tune out, they might like it. You don't know, you're not even giving them a chance.
Oh, God. Speaking with that, dude, this is the same, so they're taking the same.
Is that the same article over again?
I think so, yeah. Gatwa confirmed that one important subject Doctor Who Season 14 is going to tackle will be race. The actor explained how, as the first long-term Black Doctor, you can't even say you're the first Black Doctor, in the series, the subject will rise due to its historical relevance. Well, yeah, I guess.
No, I'm not saying it's, see, okay, look, if you're doing historical places where they're going back in time, different time periods, yes, historically, you're going to go, if you're like going back to the 50s or something like that, you're going to see issues, right? That's just historic. That's just fact, okay? I don't mind that. The problem is that you're not even giving people like a chance to like watch the episode. You're like immediately going on about, you already went on there, talked about, you're making everything racist to begin with. They don't like me because they're racist. But that's not why people don't like what's going on. It's not because you're Black. That's not the issue. I mean, I'm sure some people that is the issue, but for most people, they don't give a shit about that. But now you're tripling down on that by making racism a central focus, and then where it makes sense historically, you're already telling people you're tripling down on that ahead of time, and you're already basically calling people racist for not liking you as the Doctor anyway to begin with. Yeah,
so this is like, and I have to wonder how much of this is him, how much of this is
this is him saying it here.
Yeah, but the interviewer might be leading with questions like, is the way that this is phrased. Sounds like they asked him point blank. They said, race makes an appearance, yes. it is quite different for the Doctor. It's not the first time. Jo Martin is the first Doctor that is black. She played the time-traveling fugitive Doctor. But it's the first time the Doctor's been black for this long. And so we have to address those elements of the character now because Earth, unfortunately, is still quite a funny little place.
Which implies that everybody's still racist and hates you because you're black.
Right. And so, yeah, we'll be addressing those things. Russell has such a knack of being able to bring in these elements of our humanity through this sci-fi lens in a really interesting way. Well, then do it. I mean, I just think that there's a lot of damage being done preemptively between what he's saying, what Russell T Davies has been saying.
You're going to turn people off before the show debuts. I'm just
drop it.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Your constant race baiting bullshit is going to turn a lot of people off before they even get a chance to watch it, and it might be good. And before you even have a chance to show if it's good and done nuanced and done in a way that, you know, like Doctor Who used to be, you're going to turn everybody off by preemptively telling everybody about you're all racist for not liking me, and guess what? We're gonna tackle people like you in our show. I mean, you're just turning people off every time you open your mouth.
Well, that was like the episode with Rosa Parks. It was really insulting. It was like the villain was a futuristic space neo-Nazi. Like, I'm gonna go back in time and mess with Rosa Parks so we can be, you know, all white in the future, some crazy crap like that. I was like, what the hell? This is like on so many levels. This is really insulting. But yeah, so look, this is going to happen. This has happened. This actually has happened in episodes of Doctor Who. I remember Martha, they went into the past and they're kind of like, yeah, hey, you're black and it's like the 1800s and this is 1700s.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
but they didn't make a big deal about it. It was just, you know, it addressed the situation and showed it was like not the greatest thing ever. And it did it as part of the show. We didn't have to lead up with it. Hey, did we mention you're all a bunch of white bigots? Did we mention? We got to talk about it in our show. It's all about racism because, you know, I'm black, you know, and it's a problem.
If you can do it without being like, just like in your freaking face.
Well, clearly they can't.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like they're going to go out of their way to be like, you know, it's you, the audience, of the problem. I mean, Russell T Davies had a pretty deft hand originally. He's not the same.
Sprained his wrist.
He's not the same person he was. I mean, just some of the stuff he's said lately, and just like, I'm like, my personal opinion is I think he knows his checks are signed by Mickey Mouse now, and he's going to do whatever Disney tells him to do. And at the time when these episodes were filmed, Disney is probably leaning into the DEI stuff pretty hard. They're like, oh, we have a time-traveling black gay man. Let's really play that up and show the audience how bigoted they are and make sure they know that they're all racist and homophobic. And it's like, we're watching Star Trek the other night, last night even, and I'm like, they were really pretty far ahead of the curve in the 90s, in the 60s. And it's like, we already been there, done that. And they could tell an entertaining science fiction story without putting the audience on blast. And I think that's the difference. But again, I have to wonder, you know, if we had current year, the cast of Star Trek Next Generation out there now, if they would be constantly run at the mouth.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean,
I have zero doubt.
Marina Sirtis can't keep her mouth shut, you know. And I don't think she's like bad in particular, but like on social media, that's every other tweet. You know, and you get people like Mark Hamill on the Star Wars.
Hamill too.
On the Star Wars side, like, I'm sure he's nice in person, but like every other tweet is hyper political. So you would absolutely positively would have LeVar Burton out there putting the audience on blast. So maybe it's just social media. Maybe it's just the media. I
think social media just lets everybody think they can say whatever. So anyway.
Good luck with that. Right?
Uh-huh.
We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye-bye.